The biggest game in Europe, no doubt about it, is in Italy this weekend. It is, of course, the Milan derby, the first of the season. What's the mood like in Milan ahead of this game?
Well, I think right now the tide is shifting a little bit in terms of confidence, in terms of stability. Obviously, you know, Inter Milan have come from behind. They've closed the gap. They've overcome the nightmare early in the year. And if you're AC Milan, you know, this business with Tevez and Pato, and the one good news, perhaps, Max Allegri, the manager, he has extended his deal. He's going to be earning something in the region of 2.5 million euros a season. That's net, so it works out to around 4.5 million gross. So maybe that'll provide a little bit of stability, a little bit of shot in the arm. But, you know, I think Milan view this as a classic banana skin.
Well, tradition has said that whoever wins this game will finish above the other in the season. We can see 5 of the last 6 games. This has been definitive when it comes to finishing position of either side. Tommy, who's this game bigger for?
Oh, I think it's big for both teams. I mean, certainly the way Inter started the season, it's very big for them, and you throw tradition out the window. Forget about that stuff. This is a game. It's going to be played between 11 on each side, and we'll see where it goes. I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of bearing on who finishes on top of who or whatever you're talking about. I don't know.
Shaka, considering Inter's position in the league, is it bigger for them? If they don't get 3 points, is their title chase over?
Well, I don't think Inter's title chase really got started this season given the start, and yes, you can say they're undefeated in 5 and playing some of their best football, but I think this is more about AC Milan. They've led the pack for the most part during the course of the season, just can't seem to shrug off the challenge from Juventus. They have problems within their dressing room, or so it seems, and now they've got to prove to themselves that they are able to defend their title.
It's over, isn't it? I mean, you don't think that Inter, you're not going to start that carry on that you brought up last year.
I'm not. It's going to take something monumental. You have to say, though, you look back a couple of seasons where Ranieri takes Roma undefeated between the beginning of November and the back end of April. It would take that kind of run. Do you see Inter putting together that kind of run? Absolutely not. But I think AC, given how well they've looked this season, given the fact that Juventus continue to be undefeated, have a lot to prove themselves, especially with the little uncertainty that is in the
dressing room. You got off the Inter bandwagon.
I am.
Leaving these two to it, Gav. Are Inter still title contenders, in your opinion?
Well, I think this game is going to help determine that. But, you know, I remind everybody, this is Claudio Ranieri you're talking about. This is the guy who specializes in valiant comebacks. You know, Shaka referenced it there. When he was at Roma, he made up 14 points on Inter Milan, who were top of the table, actually passed Inter, and then you know, Inter came back and won the title. But he's done this before, and I might add, that Inter side weren't exactly managed by a mug. That was a very strong Inter side who was managed by one Jose Mourinho, and who that season, of course, went on to win the treble.
We'll focus on Inter a little bit later on, Gab, but first, Milan, how do you see their starting 11 setting up?
Well, I think there's some big decisions to make. Abbiati in goal, he's had a few knocks, but it looks like he's going to be fit. Back 4, no real surprise. Thiago Silva and Nesta. Nesta had a knock, but he's apparently 100% confirmed today. Question in left back, Antonini or Zambrotta, leaning towards Antonini, gives you a little bit more legs. In midfield, now there's no Aquilani, so I think they're going to go with a more defensive setup. Ambrosini and Van Bommel and Nocerino all in there. Then Kevin Prince Boateng behind Robinho and Ibra. Pato may be staying, but no guaranteed spot.
It's been a big week, hasn't it, for Pato, Tommy? According to Gab, he won't start.
Yeah, well, I think this is the ideal opportunity for Pato. I think that this is a game where if they put Pato into it, Pato can say, OK, this is what I'm capable of doing. And I think if you wanted to light a fire under Pato, which it looked like AC Milan did want to do, I think they've lit the fire. Now, why would they put the fire out? Why would they put the fire out? Let me finish. Why would they put the fire out? Let him play. Let him start. Put him in alongside of Robinho and push Boateng back a little deeper in the midfield. Don't you think so?
And leave out Zlatan? I don't think you can leave out
didn't say
Ibrahimovic.
that.
You said put him alongside Robinho.
Yeah, Robinho, Ibrahimovic, and
To play all
Pato,
three.
the three of them. Yeah.
I don't.
Do you understand that?
I understand.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
But you didn't
Okay.
mention Zlatan.
Okay, all right.
I don't think you go that courageous, that attack-minded up front, given how good Inter have been. But I'm with Tommy in that you play Pato. Again, I'm not Robinho's biggest fan. Maybe that's tempering my decision somewhat. And I really do admire Pato, especially with his pace. I think it'll unsettle Inter's back four. I think he's the player that plays alongside Ibrahimovic with Prince Boateng just in behind.
Okay, that's fine. I'll go with that too.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Pato, of course, scored in the last 3 derbies in which he's played. Gab, let's turn our attention now to the opponents. How do you see Inter lining up?
Well, Julio Cesar in goal as expected across the back. Maicon, who's looked pretty good of late with Samuel and Lucio. Left back is another decision. You go more attacking with Nagatomo, a little bit more defensive with Kivu, who's looked pretty sharp in training. I think he's going Naga. Midfield, Zanetti, Cambiaso, Mota, the old faces. The question mark is going to be what you do with Ricky Alvarez. Does Alvarez played well? Does he start? But there's a certain Wesley Sneijder who's fit again. If you do go with Sneijder, then you play Sneijder behind the 2 strikers who are likely to be Milito and Pazzini.
This seems to be the big tactical question, isn't it, Shaka, going into this game? Wesley Sneijder hasn't played since the 19th of November. Do you take a gamble on the Dutchman, or do you stick with Ricky Alvarez, who's impressed?
No, you stick with Alvarez. And again, Inter undefeated in 5, absolutely no reason to change that. And I think Alvarez has grown as this season has gone on. In particular, and we keep talking about how impressive Inter have been in the lead-up to the break and the 1 game since. I don't think Ranieri needs to change this. This team is finally finding their identity, and I think they're playing well enough to warrant Sneijder staying on the bench.
No doubt, it looks like Diego Milito will start. Tommy, he won the Golden Dustbin Award last season. He was that bad, but he's done all right so far this year.
Well, he's done all right. I mean, if you take away the figures where he had that fantastic years before, I mean, he scored goals like they were going out of style, including that so important goal in the Coppa Italia. I mean, I just don't see... I mean, I feel sorry for him. I mean, there's as much chance of me swimming across the Panama Canal in this suit as there is of Milito scoring as many goals as he did that year. I mean, it's just not happening. The man has gone off form, and okay, he's get a couple of goals here and there, but I don't think that's enough for a player of the class of Milito.
At least we know that suit will float in the Panama Canal. That
The question is, will I float?
Well, I hope that you wouldn't. I imagine. Lots of Twitter reaction, as always, at ESPN Press Pass ahead of the derby. This one comes in, and refs and what we're talking about is AC Milan will win it, but it's lost value. The derby used to be like Ali versus Fraser fight. Now it's toothless. Gab, you said, of course, that Inter would win on yesterday's programme. Why? And has it lost a little bit of spark, the derby, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, obviously compared to when Milan were regularly winning Champions Leagues and Inter were winning titles, compared to that, you know, you could argue it's lost a bit. They've retrenched a little, but there's still a tremendous amount of talent on display. And as for who wins, my reasoning for going with Inter is predicated upon the fact that I think Allegri will play those 3 guys in midfield, that Nocerino, Ambrosini, Van Bommel. I think that's a bit defensive in a game like this. And if Ranieri sits, you're going to have 3 guys who probably can't really create chances, because remember, there's no Aquilani in there. I actually like what Tommy suggested, and I wonder if maybe he isn't going to try to throw a bit of a curveball at Ranieri and perhaps play Boateng in that package of 3 deeper and stick Pato in there, throw something different at them.
Xhaka, you said last week that you felt that Milan were going to win. We know that you're consistently inconsistent when it comes to predictions. Are you sticking with Milan? Are you going for a draw? Goodness knows what you're going to do.
I think I've kind of run out of days in the lead up to the Clásico in December. I went 1 Real Madrid, 1 Barcelona, 1 draw. This time I'll pick AC. I don't have any days left really to go all 3, so I'm going to have to stick with AC Milan.
Good. OK, well, we asked you on Twitter who you felt was... Look at this absolute landslide. Milan, 70%. Inter Milan, just 12. Draw, 18%. They haven't drawn in their last 13 meetings in the Milan derby. Tommy, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
You said Milan?
Yeah, I've said Milan. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not like Shaq. I don't change
What about
my
your
mind.
bets, though?
Yeah, well, I
I
got a few prop ones here. I think that Inter Milan will do a lot of attacking, so they're going to get a lot of corner kicks. Bet that. I think that AC Milan are going to need 1-0 at half-time, 16-5. How could you? And look at this. The big man, Ibrahimovic, 9-2 to be the first goal scorer. And can you believe it? 15-2. AC Milan to win 2-1. Shaka, you got to get some money down on something.
I'm not getting any money down on anything you pick.
Look at.
Given your record over recent weeks, Tommy, I'm sorry. I've got more chance of wearing that suit on the next show.
Well, you have a suit like this, so why don't you wear it?
Gab, we've got to mention him, I suppose, don't we? Carlos Tevez. Moratti hasn't exactly come out and dispelled any rumours that he could actually come to Milan. What's the latest there?
Moratti's come out and said, well, we'll see about this after the derby next week. I don't know. I mean, to me, it kind of smacks a little bit of somebody who's kind of said, well, you know, our offer wasn't really real all along. We were just doing it to mess up AC Milan, and now there's no need to do that. But I think the reality is he knows full well this story's not dead. Until the deadline passes, I think Milan will be working to secure him, and that's why, you know, Inter are going to try to continue to help City out if they can by keeping their offer on the table. I see no way that this can really be genuine given the amount of strikers and veteran high-paid strikers like Milito, like Pazzini, like Diego Forlan, who are already at Inter.
I can exclusively reveal that both Inter and AC Milan are in Tommy's first top 25 of 2012. Who will join them?